Welcome everyone to the fourth episode of Stories of Common Engineering Students. This is Shivam Hasurkar and today I have got you Shambhuraj Patil. Shambhuraj is most disciplined person I have ever seen. He's extremely systematic in all his work. He's an aspiring defense services candidate and also one of those people who has the guts to thrive on passion no matter how hard the situation is. He holds his deep and appealing voice. He's focused and a very calm person. I mean, I have never seen Shambhu in angry mode or getting fed up on something or someone. So let's not waste time and let's dive into deep conversations with Shambhuraj Patil, which will teach you many more things.
Thank you, Shivam. That was very overwhelming from your side. Thanks.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be a lot of fun. We are going to revisit a lot of things, and everyone, like all the listeners, you are going to know the secret elements of Shambhura's life, how he has disciplined himself so much, and how he has this craze for the passion that he is following right now. So let's start, Shambhu. Why engineering? And specifically with what I know you from last few years, I know you have this determination and passion to be in defense services. But still, why did you come for engineering?
Yes. So first of all, I'm saying that I'm very excited for this podcast because I'm following this since past few episodes. So coming back to your question, Shivam, I completed my schooling from Services Preparatory Institute located in Aurangabad. So after 10th examination, I gave this entrance exam, and that too with my cousin brother. The it is also a tragedy story. So my cousin brother was passionate about joining different forces, and I was completely unaware of these things. I was not having that a particular goal in life at that point of view. With him, I appeared in exam. Yes, we both of us got selected into it, but because of some family issues, he was unable to join the institute. But eventually, I joined the institute, and I got admission into one of the premium institute of Maharashtra, that is SPI. So
Okay,
the
great.
SPI prepares boys for defense services, for NDA and other academies.
Okay, so how was SPI and what all did you learn from it?
Okay, so SPI, as I mentioned, the way I got into SPI. So SPI was completely life-changing experience for me because I was, first of all, I was not having any defense background. Many people or many
Okay.
close people in my circle believe that my father or my ancestors coming from defense background, but that's not true
Okay.
because yes, I was not completely unaware of SPI. Rather, when I got into SPI, I was not knowing what are the ways to join defense forces, or what are the things in details in defense forces. So when I got into there, I was surrounded with people like-minded who are preparing for this since
Exactly.
their
Yeah.
childhood itself.
Mm-hmm.
So whose parents are into defense services and other allied services. So that
Okay.
was the that these were first steps that I had because I was completely new in that. And
Of course. Yeah.
talking about yes, and talking about SPI. So I like to clear my background. Like, I'm coming from vernacular. I studied my 10th till 10th standard from vernacular language, that is Marathi.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not able to speak at least one complete sentence till my 10th standard. That is harsh reality. I can see that. And the
Okay.
rule of SPI was like you have to compulsory communicate with each other in English,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
or else you'll be treated very badly. I must quote that. So that's how my journey
So you
started.
had
So
the
because
you had to pick English anyhow.
yes. So if during initial period I had that inferiority complex, like I used to stay back behind the mob so that I
Okay.
can I can avoid the punishment and all the matters. So
Okay.
this was the initial period, but as I exposed to environment, I started feeling that I should learn this communicate at least basic communications in English. And if you want to go ahead, and that surrounding was so fruitful or so powerful that I completely dived into that environment which molded me like completely another
Which
person.
shaped
I
you,
completely
yeah, shaped you with the way you are.
different personality. Yeah.
Yeah.
So watching videos in English, reading English novels, rather I started from that Sudeep Nagarkar, and so I started reading novels and all. That's
Okay,
how I
okay.
started working on English. So yes, English is, I think, one of the thing that gave that I received from SPI. And other than that, discipline is the thing. Sports, you will be amazed, like my 10th school was not having a playground. So I was quite amazed and very curious when I joined SPI. Like there was so much of games that were played in SPI.
In
So
general,
this
sports.
was,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is what I learned from SPI. And another thing I like to say that there are, for your information, for your audience, like different for after 12th, one can appear into NDA, that examination that is conducted by UPSC for four times, generally
Mm-hmm.
4 times. So
Okay.
I studied in SPI and appeared in those exams, in which I cleared 3 of the times and appeared into SSB interviews, Service Selection Board.
Yeah.
But I couldn't crack those interviews, so decided to choose carry forward that career path that they say show must go on. So that's what I followed.
But anyway, the passion you have right now, still
Yeah.
you are pursuing for getting into defense services. Being the first generation that I can say, like usually it happens like if parents, grandparents, or someone in the family is in defense, people usually thrive to be there. But you being the first generation and trying to struggle to get the path, still pursuing it with so many failure. I won't say failures, I would say learnings. So even
Yes,
after
yes.
attempting exams so many times, but still you are pursuing that, and it is appreciable to a different level.
One of the
Can you
ways
just explain
was,
in short, like how what all our options are available right after 10th or 12th standard to get into defense services? Like in short, just the ways.
yes, yes. Our journey starts from 12th standard. That is after 12th standard, you can give attempts of UPSC examination, UPSC for NDA, National Defense
Okay.
Academy, located at Pune. Yes, for that, one can now that option is also available for girls as well from this year. That is the good part that has happened right now. Also, there is another way that on 12th percentage, you can also appear in SSB directly, eliminating the written exam option. Like there are two ways. First, give a written exam, appear into interview, crack it, and then go to NDA. Another way is skip the written exam, appear into interview direct, and crack it, and then join NDA. So these are two
Okay.
ways, right? So if you are not able to make it into this, there is also another options available. So after graduation, there are a number of ways. First one is CDS, Combined Defense Services, which is also conducted by UPSC. So that is examination. When you crack it, then you will be called for interview from SSB again. Then after that, the if you achieve to get into it, so that's good. Another thing is FCAT, as I cleared FCAT twice.
Mm.
So that is being conducted by Air Force specially for Air Force domain only. Another thing is INIT. The same way Air Force conducts, the same way Navy also conducts for naval candidates. These are the
Okay.
three ways. Another than that, as I mentioned, on 12 percentage one can go. So the likewise, aspirant can join defense forces on the basis of engineering's percentage as well. So
After
they
graduation.
declare a merit, after graduation. So they declare a merit, and those who are able to crack the merit, they are being called for SSB interview. And if you crack the SSB interview, then you will get into academy. So these are the
Okay.
ways to join defense services.
Okay.
Yes.
So how did you eventually having a plan to get into defense services, getting into SPI, and then experiencing those 2 years, and then eventually how did you land up in an engineering college in Kolkata from Aurangabad?
Yes. So there is a special day in SPI which is celebrated as a reunion. On that day, many alumni from SPI come to meet the present student and they share their valuable experiences during training, during their postings. So it was very a nice experience, nice interactive experience for me, and which motivated me because those training stories, those adventurous missions and all. So I heard those things from those seniors, which quite motivated me. So
Amazing.
that point, I was clear to join defense forces. So from that point, I started dreaming about myself into uniform. That I can say.
Yeah.
And I started preparing for that as well, along with my batchmates.
Mhm.
And yes, I cleared. I tried my best to join forces, but because of some issues, because of some things, I was not able to clear the interviews. So there must be plan B. So
Mhm.
I looked up to my father because from childhood I have seen him working into manufacturing field, and he was working at
Okay.
one of the highest position at his organization. So
Mhm.
the way he was handling or hundreds of people under him, the way he was passionate about his work, so which quite inspiring for me. So also supported me to choose plan B, and that's how I landed up in engineering.
It's great. It's great to have a plan B always because you don't know. Maybe some things are written in your destiny right now or maybe later. But having plans for plans is also a crucial thing in life because
Yeah.
if something happens which is out of your control, and like for many of us, we faced lockdown, coronavirus, which is completely out of control of our hands. Having
Yes,
plan B, plan C are always beneficial. And
definitely.
so moving on, you came to engineering with some expectations. What did you, what output did you want from this 4 years of engineering, which would help in your passion
Right, right. So honestly speaking, Shivam, as you guys were preparing for JEE Mains, MSCT and whatnot,
in
but
11, 12
we
standard?
were, yes, 11, 12 standard, but we were only studying about how to join forces, how dreaming about NDA, practicing for UPSC NDA. So, but at certain moment, life changes. I was expecting that engineering would be much more tougher because I had seen my cousins studying into engineering, and they were telling that the stories about mathematics and whatnot, mechanics, fluid mechanics, and all. So I was dreaming that engineering would be much more tougher for me. But I had given CET and I was able to manage to get into KIT. So the
Okay.
expectation, talking about the expectations, I thought I had initially thought that engineering would be much more tougher for me. But when I landed up into KIT, so I found that it was quite easy for me. Not at
Yeah.
not at at initial level,
Okay.
but
But in
gradually I
general,
found
the
it that,
4 years, if you
huh,
see, you found it, yeah,
quite
it's kind of
easy,
easy.
and yes, yes, it's quite interesting as well.
Hmm.
And talking about output of 4 years, I think it is difficult to sum up in few words, but yes, output was really fruitful. I must say that because whatever we are doing right now is the output. Whatever we are independent and we
Yeah,
have a stand. That's the main output that engineering has given us.
given us.
So this is the output I can sum up.
Right now, I also feel that engineering in India basically gives you a platform kind of thing to where you
Yes,
want to excel in your career. It's not
yes,
like how engineering is supposed to be like core, learning about core subjects, and may it be computer science, may it be mechanical, civil, or environmental, whatever stream it may be. It is not the same nowadays. You
yes,
get into engineering, a specific branch, but over a period of 4 years, it gives you a base, and it teaches
yes,
you a lot of things, that what options are there available. And there are countless examples after, like, people after
correct.
engineering have gone into extreme fields, excel in those fields.
Yes, yes. Basically, the engineering makes you employable. The next step is at your hand. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on. How was, as you said, it was quite easy, but still, how did you find the initial year of engineering with the academics perspective? So we had worked really hard on these core subjects like physics, chemistry, mathematics in 11, 12 standard. So for us, it was quite, for me specifically, after doing 11, 12 standard, it was quite easy to get through that first year of engineering, or the mathematics, or the second year also, the M3 and all subjects. But you, wherein you had studied a completely different kind of, I'm not saying uh, complete different, but you were preparing for something else and then you came to engineering. How was that first year for you, academics wise?
Yes. I guess you currently pointed out that the curriculum that we studied in 11, 12 was completely different, but it was not completely different. It was slightly different. Like I also studied from CBSE. Subjects were common, but the
Okay.
interest was different.
Yeah.
So that hampered me during first year itself because I couldn't clear two subjects, M1, M2. Then in
Okay.
second, in
M1
second
and M2 is
ENM.
like everyone's pain.
Yes, yes, yes. I think
But
that is the tradition of the engineering student. There's famous dialogue like Parampara Pratishtha and Anushasan. So that is the
M1,
tradition
M2,
that
and
everyone
M3.
has. Yes, that everyone has to follow. So this is the same through the same tunnel I also passed. So M1 down, M2 down, E and M down. So that was the thing when it was completely screwed me up. That I thought I the second thought came into my mind was, why did I choose engineering? I'm not able to pass the first year without any backs, and how I'm going to pass another 3 years. So
Okay.
this was the thought after results. And but I gave another makeup exam and I got cleared into it. But academic wise, I found it initially it was difficult, but few subjects were quite interesting.
Mhm.
So yes.
What changed then in those years? What was that point? I never knew this first year part of yours like you had back in M1 and M2. I knew Shambhu wherein he was kind of a good grader. So what changed in between?
Yes, yes, yes. So this is I think quite a interesting story. So in first and second year, first and half of second year, I must say that I was quite poor in academics, but I had seen Walk with World committee in campus. So the people working in Walk with World committee has the charm of campus. I must say that
Yeah.
they were out all rounder in academics and co-curricular activities.
Mhm.
So I was like, these people do not sit in the class; they are seen into a campus all the time. How the hell they are scoring so much? There are so many examples
Yeah,
in front
our
of me.
super senior, I also know.
Yeah,
It was a
seniors,
kind of
super seniors.
fascination for us when we were in
Not
first
even
year.
seniors and super seniors. My batchmates as well. I can point them out. So these jobs were scoring so much, though they were actively participating in events. So I was quite attracted towards Walk with World, and I think
Mm.
this was the one of the major motive to join Walk with World.
Okay.
And I got into Walk with World, and there is one of my friends, Sukumar. So while one day after college we were sitting on enclaves and we were discussing something. So there was also tension of submissions and PL was coming nearby. So I was talking with him. So I asked him, so yeah, how do you manage to get 9 pointer in spite of having such busy in activities or getting busy
Events
into
and all
such
those things.
events?
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, he told me zone out concept. So he told me that Shambhu, after finishing these events, after finishing college, go to home, completely zone out, and focus on study, only study. So this zone out concept I implemented. The earlier I used to do like after getting into
After
home
going home,
also.
also we used to think about those events or what can I
Events,
do? What?
calls,
Yeah.
yes, calls and chit chatting on WhatsApp. These things were common, but
Hmm.
I followed his idea or his zone out concept basically. So I practiced that and I started getting good result. That's how I improved my academics along with these events as well. So that's
Uh,
how I changed to get or to improve myself in academics as well.
you picked that specific thing from them and then you implemented in your life.
Yes, yes,
Nice.
yes.
It's amazing. Similarly, like I, on a personal belief, feel that you have many characteristics that people should learn from. What do
Yes.
you think that the characteristics that you have that people should learn from you?
I think the passion that I have, determination, I can say, because you will be amazed, Shivam. This is the ninth time I'll be going to SSB in spite of having eight time failures.
Mhm.
So because I have that passion to join forces, so I see many of my friends, close friends, in my department were studying in production department, and they were quite fascinated about machines and manufacturing processes. They were so good at projects and all things. But at the end of the 4 years, some IT company came, they gave him good offer, and they accepted that, and they completely changed their career path. So I think one must stick to the passion no matter what. One day will come and it will give you what you want. So this is the
Definitely.
thing I believe, and I think this thing, I think I represent that thing, that passion is passion helps you to live. This is the thing.
And rightly, as it is rightly said, like you can do anything as long as you have the passion, the drive, the focus, and the support for it. So also apart from passion, I I think that Shambhu is very well organized kind of person. From the time that I have known him, he has been this very systematic person that I know. So could you please elaborate how you got that and why do
Thanks for
you?
the compliment, Shivam, first. But I have that habit, Shivam, to pick good things from people around me. So I picked up this thing, organizing skills, from my grandfather. So he's person, I think, the most organized person I have ever seen in my life. He actually keeps all the records of all the activities that he has done in his life of 70 years. So I think it makes him easy to I mean, it makes him easy to recollect all those things. It saves his time and efforts as well. So this thing I have picked up from him. I always keep my office desk. I always keep my home room cupboard organized. So I think this is the thing I liked about myself, or being organized, because it helps you
It
and it
helps
makes
you a
you
lot.
productive.
Yeah,
Yes. Also, Shivam, there is a thing that I studied in SPI. So there we had learned about how to keep our cupboards, how to keep your uniform neat and clean. So these all the things are part of organizing skills. And for that we had been like beaten up. I literally use the word. We had gone through a rough path. So these things which are learned by such methods cannot be forgotten in the rest of the life. So this is that also plays major role in this perspective.
definitely. So, what was your
Yes.
motive to
So
get into it?
at initial stage, my motto was to build up a good network, because I was shifting to Kolhapur after from Aurangabad. In Aurangabad, I studied in day boarding, so the friends of hostel spread it over, and we had a very less contact after that.
Hmm.
So coming into a new college, new city, so it was quite. I felt very challenging in that. The initial goal was to build up a good network, and rather than events, what can be a good reason?
Of course, of
So
course.
events and activities, participation, or being part of organizing committees. So this was a reason to build up a good network and to mix up with chaps like you and others.
I guess this was around this time. itself, we I got introduced to you.
Yes,
In first year, I didn't knew. We both were a part of Abhigyan as volunteers,
yes,
but I
that's right.
had never recognized a lot of people in that. Around the same time, I got introduced to that Shambhuraj at the end of second year, maybe. There's this person,
In
Shambhuraj.
MUN, specifically in MUN.
Yeah, there's this person, Shambhuraj, who had given voice to Abhigyan, and the voice was so deep and so likable that it was just amazing part. And what happened was I was working with this TEDx committee, so TEDx KIT COEK, from first year itself. It was my first committee in KIT college. So I had my legs in both the boards, walk with World 2 and TEDx KIT. Like
Yes,
this was I never, I know there were some quarrels in between the committees. KIT has a lot of committees and there's like, what can I say? There are wars between those committees, but I never see like these things at that level. Uh,
yes, yes.
Usually this happens,
See,
right? Like,
there are
no,
there are n number of things which are more than learning, or a person can lost in many directions rather than
yes,
taking learnings from those.
yes, yes.
So
What
one should be aware of them.
so my perspective is kind of a bit different. I don't know, but थोडा छोट्या लेवलवर कन्सिडर केलं तर दोन मुलं जरी बोलत असतील तर माझं हे मंडळ तुझं ते मंडळ सो इन जनरल जर बोलताना भांडणं वगैरे होतात. थोडं अजून मोठ्या लेवल गेलं तर माझी हा एरिया जास्त चांगला आहे तुझ्या त्या एरियापेक्षा. थोडं अजून मोठ्या लेवलवर बघायला गेलं तर मी कोल्हापुरात राहतो, तू पुण्यात राहतोस, मग पुणे चांगलं का कोल्हापूर चांगलं? अजून एक स्टेप वर महाराष्ट्रामध्ये मी राहतो, तू दिल्लीमध्ये राहत असेल, तो दिल्ली जास्त बेटर आहे का महाराष्ट्र जास्त बेटर आहे, कर्नाटक जास्त बेटर आहे का केरला जास्त बेटर आहे? लोकांना ते टेंडन्सी असतं की पीपल युजली कम्पेअर अँड ट्राय टू प्रूव्ह देअर ओन पॉइंट ऑर ट्राय टू क्रिएट फाईट्स इन एव्हरी स्मॉल थिंग्स. प्रत्येकाचे कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्सच डिफरंट असतील तर का म्हणतायचं असं माझं मत आहे. मी असं म्हणत नाही की कॉम्पिटिशन नसलीच पाहिजे किंवा काय, कॉम्पिटिशन नसलीच पाहिजे किंवा इट्स कम्प्लिटली डिफरंट. बट वाय कॅन्ट वी स्टँड ॲज वन नेशन दॅट वी रिप्रेझेंट, one country, India, all together standing for one thing at the end of the day. I believe in that. I never want to get into small things like this is like I had always seen all these events, all these different events and organization committees under one umbrella that is KIT. I was like, we are representing the same college, then why are we fighting among ourselves? So that was my perspective from very first year. Like when I participated in TEDx KIT Shoiki as a volunteer, then I joined a Vigyan. Of course,
But
making
I must mention that the way there were few incidents where there were a lot of clashes, and the
yeah,
way you handled everything was commendable. Like this is, I think, the most the thing which I can pick up from you.
but Walk with Old was amazing for
Right.
definitely. So moving along, what were your like best memories in college?
I think if I recall my college days, I only recall my friends. So the time spent with my friends is the best memory. It may be the Punjab trip, it may be Goa trip, it may be any activity, it may be a walk with world. So
Yeah,
these memories are like treasure for me. Uh, uh,
definitely,
these whenever I recall these memories now, it makes me speechless. Like the best
definitely.
time of my life I cherished with the people like you and others. So this is the best memory, yeah.
Nice, nice. I would want to know which is that one book that hit you the most.
Uh, I I would like to share one thing. Like when I was in school, so my mother used to bring the books for the next year, the academic books. So
Okay.
whenever she used to bring those books, I used to read Marathi and history books in my vacations only. So mythological books or historic books, that this is the thing which I really enjoy. And if you ask me about my favorite book, so there is a book called Shapit Rajhans by Ananti Bille. So
Okay.
that book really is close to my heart because it is a story of Chhatrapati Sambhaji Maharaj, and
Hmm.
since his childhood, how he has been into difficulties and how he had conquered those difficulties. So I really, whenever I read that book, I really correlate myself with him because he has faced a lot of difficulties and hurdles, and still he has compromised life and
Yeah.
came out
Yes.
such a warrior. And what we are facing is nothing in front of that.
Is like
So that
not even
really
1%
motivates.
compared to what they have lived with.
Yes, so that really motivates me whenever I am in low time. So
Hmm.
that is the book which I really love.
These stories with Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Chhatrapati Shambhaji Maharaj, these are so overwhelming. I would say it gives you a certain source of energy reading
Correct.
about them or listening about their stories, how they conquered and how they survived through all those things. ते
Yes,
म्हटलं जातं ना की जगावं तर राजासारखं आणि मरावं तर राजासारखं.
correct,
People nowadays, even if they inculcate like 10% of the values and the ethics that these people followed, then life would be amazing. That I want to inculcate all those skills in myself too. The amount
correct,
of loyalty towards the King Swarajya, the kingdom that
correct,
they all developed together. So
correct. My for your information, I'm sharing this. My father's name is Shivraj, which means Shivaji Maharaj, and my mother's name is Sai. So for that reason, they kept my name as a
oh,
Shambhuraj.
oh
So
shit.
since childhood, the the parents that
I
are
never knew this.
yeah. So the upbringing that I have is kind of that thing because my both parents
राजांसारखं
are
जगलास तू.
not in that ways, but my parents are quite inspired, or they follow the teachings of Chhatrapati rigorously. So that has inculcated into me that I am also quite fascinated about his stories and his teachings. So yes,
It's just beautiful beyond words, I would say. Let's move on to after engineering. How was it for you? Continuing with a plan B as such, but uh, also on parallel, keeping the work for plan A. How are you going through it?
I think I can say that the real climax started because the story started from lockdown. Since our last semester of third year, since that the lockdown started, and I thought that it is a golden time to prepare for the competitive exams related to defense. So
Yeah.
I started preparing or started working hard on it. In that, I appeared in various interviews, cleared various exams, but I couldn't clear that. So after graduation, after our end of our degree, I thought that I should give at least 1 year after graduation because I have spent 7 years for chasing that goal. So I not a 1 year because I had enough age limit, that is
Of
24.
course.
So yeah, so I thought that I should dedicate 1 year for that. So I did not choose any other companies or any other placements, though I had three placements in my last year. So I did not accept that and
Hmm.
kept working on that. But eventually, I felt that the age limit is also going to end, and I should have a plan B. Like I chose engineering, so now I should have a plan B. Last few months ago, I joined TVS Motors, located in Hosur. So there
Okay.
I'm working in quality department, and
Nice.
even and side by side I'm preparing for defense services as well. But I'm not pausing or stopping my journey for defense anymore. My friend used to say that in a funny way. So there is a phrase that try, but he used
Don't.
to make in a funny way that yes, try, but leave it before it makes you cry.
Yeah.
But I chose plan B. But Shivan, from my heart, I would say that though I'm working in such a nice company, nice organization, but my heart says no.
Somewhere.
I have more capabilities. Yes, because I'm working to reduce the rejection, to improve the process in company. But I'm asking myself that what I'm doing right now. Yes, I'm doing good work, good for our organization. But am I following my interest? Am I following my what I've seen myself 5 years ago? No, but
Mm, mm.
see, the picture must or the show must go on. So that's how
Of
I'm
course.
following it. But I have promised myself that I'll gain what I have dreamed of. So that's the thing.
Definitely. One day.
I would share here. When I was in SSB, I met one of my friends. So one day while having a dinner, we were discussing few things because whenever you approach in that examination, you stay for 5 days over there. So
Mm,
that time you make good friends over there. And I met that guy, and he was quite a good reader. So we matched our wavelength. So he was sharing one of the stories that he read in Gita. So there's a story in Gita that there's Krishna explains to Arjuna that a boy, there is a home, and there's a a small child is in that home who is living with his parents. So there one day there is no light, and the candle is kept in a room. So that child is crying to touch that candle
mhm.
because it he finds that that is fascinating, that there is
Yeah.
dark around, but that candle is sparkling. So he wants to touch that candle, but parents are avoiding that child. So he
Mm.
tries, but mothers yells at him, don't touch. But still, after some time he also goes and
Again
try to
gives it
touch
back.
that candle. Yes. Then his father scolds him, and he starts crying. So Krishna says that that's the person that depicts you. Like we are the babies and the God that is parents. We are touching or we are trying hard to gain something, but God is avoiding us or stopping us to achieve
Preventing it.
that.
Mhm.
But why? Because if that child touches that candle, he is going to cry because of that. if
Get burned.
if a
Yeah.
baby is not yes, if a baby is not able to if is not able to touch that candle, he's either gonna cry. So in both ways babies is gonna cry, but the benefit is in not touching that candle. So
Of
likewise,
course.
if we are not able to achieve something, so that means some good part is happening with us. God is planning something that is good for us. So
Definitely.
that motivated me, and that's how I have motivated myself to achieve something in other part of life.
Definitely. That's like this is really relatable to me right now in the situation also. There are going to be times that you may not achieve something, you may not get something that you had planned for a long time, or you had invested yourself in something for a long time. But eventually it might happen that you won't get it. But please remember this beautiful story, Shambhuraj. I'm going to remember it throughout my life. Okay, so one last question, Shambhu. Right now, what do you think is the best path for an individual who wants to get into defense services? What is the most optimal path for him to get there?
I think most optimum path is like firstly clear the SPI entrance exam, because SPI is the best place, I think, I believe, to get into defense forces, because it molds a boy into a gentleman. So it
Okay.
prepares you mentally,
Great.
physically for the upcoming life. And as early as possible, if a person is able to get into defense forces, that's best for him, because there are no n number of ways. Till the age of 38 a person can join, because that is a territorial army and other parts, CAPF, and there are n number of possibilities. But
Mhm.
as early as possible, go to SPI, crack ND examination, get into National Defense Academy Pune, and live your journey, live your dream. I think this is the only optimum path I can draw.
As you said, follow your passion. On that note, do you want to say something to listeners?
Yes, Shivam, there are many personalities in our society, like APJ Abdul Kalam. It may be Mahendra Singh Dhoni. It may be Shah Rukh Khan. So why they are at their position? Because they followed their passion,
Of
though
course.
they are having bad patches. At the end of when they declare results in after SSB, so they tell the story of APJ Abdul Kalam. So he appeared into SSB once in his life, but he
Mhm.
was rejected from there. He had a dream
Uh,
to become a pilot. So he was being rejected from SSB Service Selection Board once, but still he did not lose his passion and became Missile Man of India.
yes,
So that thing I think one should remember in his life.
definitely. This is one of the quotes that hit me a lot of times, and most of the times that people, as you said, that people even after engineering take up some different job that they want or get stuck in some different life and then are not able to follow their passion or pursue their passion. This quote has
Correct,
always been motivating me. Use the
correct,
weekends to build the life you want instead of
correct,
trying to escape the life you have.
correct.
It was great talking to you, Shambhu. And
Yes, Shivam.
I am sure all the people around you and us are sure that definitely one day you're going to achieve your passion and live that dream life of yours. And I'm sure that this podcast is going to teach a lot of things to uh, students who are going to pursue defense services or in general engineering. They're going to learn a lot from this.
Yes, yes, I really hope so. And thanks for having me on this podcast, Shivam. It was very nice to interact with you after such a long time.
Thank you for listening to the entire podcast. Keep on listening to stories of common engineering students.